So I'm here and I'm sat here in amongst this crisis in the middle of Tottenham, where earlier this week somebody was shot literally around the corner. A girl was shot, she was killed. And I can see all these protests going on, all these people marching, everybody asking what the solution is. The government's even come out today with, again, another useless approach to the issue. And so I thought, let me just get together with some young men who are out there, 22-year-olds, which means they're not far removed from what's actually happening on the streets now, and just ask them what they think about what's going on the streets. Because adults are out there, they're talking, but me personally, I think that let's stop talking about young people and let's start talking to young people. That's the only way we're going to come up with a solution that they take on board and that they use to change. So I was going to ask you what you think, because you know you're from around this way as well, what you think about when you heard what happened around the corner.
Terrible. Literally, I was just like, again, it was horrible to hear. Horrible. Yeah.
Devastating. To hear that can happen to someone so young, especially a young girl as well. It's like, has it really gone so? She was just, to my understanding, she was just out with a few friends, you know what I'm saying, chilling. I think someone said she went to visit her boyfriend. I don't really know the deals of it. But one moment, she relaxed. Next moment, people are hearing gunshots.
She was there.
Lying on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing all sorts of different stories because the use of social media, in this case, is what I heard perpetuated the whole thing. And I've always been talking about social media and the effects of social media. But in this case, I heard that social media helped perpetuate the shooting. And so, you know, as a young person, all this information being shared around Snapchat, all the different forums about different people, you know, YouTube still allowing videos on there, which are inciting violence. In my opinion, they're still on there. They've been on there 5 years. What do you think about that?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? It depends what context are you in terms of videos. Are you talking about just stuff that are videos on the streets, or are you talking about music?
I talk about music videos.
Okay.
Well, they call them music videos, but they're inciting hate between different cultures.
On the music situation, you know, it's interesting, isn't it? Because this conversation comes up a lot, like this whole thing about drill music right now. Should drill stop? Should drill be taken down? I'm of the opinion of no. And it's not because I'm promoting what they're doing or what they're saying, but you know what it is? I can think back to when we were in school. Teachers didn't want us to do well, you know? When we got in trouble, you know what they've done with most of us kids? They just put us in a room. So you see, the drill music they're doing right now, a lot of them are making money off it. And they're making good money. They're making money you don't get in 9-to-5 jobs or in retail jobs. So why should, in a sense, why should we stop that for them? Okay, I hear the fact that they're inciting violence, but Americans have been inciting violence for years. So we haven't stopped that. They haven't stopped that, and they're never going to stop it. At the end of the day, you got to remember, a lot of these drill rappers probably were told by their teachers they will never make nothing. Now they're making more money than their teachers will ever see. So it's how you take it. Because I mean, I can listen to it, my friend can listen to it, we can take nothing of it. But the problem is the kids are taking something from it, and that
they're actually listening to it.
Yeah. So if they are taking something from it, then there's another problem to that. Yes, I'm not saying no one can sit and say it doesn't have an impact, but taking it away completely, I definitely disagree with, because at the end of the day, people are making money off it, and they're doing tours, they're doing shows, they're like, you get me? They're to cut it off completely. You'd put a lot of people back on the streets, and it'd create a backlash.
So you think there's more artists doing music than the young people that have been influenced by that music?
Yeah, there's a lot more. And the thing is, there's a lot of people that are just doing it for the money. It's like American rappers. How many American rappers do you hear talk about guns and stuff like that? None of them are out here shooting anyone. They're just doing it because it sells. It catches on, it makes them money. They make a living off it. A lot of them are millionaires. But as I said, a lot of these artists are making money that they were told they'd never make. So for them, it's like...
For them, it's like realising
yeah, why would you stop? So obviously I get where maybe the older generation think it's a bad insight. And yes, to a degree it is, but I don't think it's one of the problems, but it's not the root. And to cut it off, I think would probably cause a bigger problem than actually to go towards solving anything.
So good, that's a really good answer. So let me ask you something then. What do you think is at the root of these young people killing each other on the streets? What do you think is at the root? Because, you know, a lot of people are still blaming the incitement on social media. They just start. So what do you think, as a 22-year-old man, is inciting violence with these young people? What do you think?
Inciting the violence. You know what? For me, I tried to discuss it on my social media platforms earlier today.
Yeah.
As I say, I do think music is a contributing factor. Social media is a contributing factor. And as my friend said, it's more about the people making music. For them, it's just money now. As I know a few of these people, some of these rappers, you know what I'm saying? They're not doing anything, let's say, in terms of killing or anything like that. They're just making music now. And then it's how do people take it. And here's what I say, it's generational differences in it that I can say. So what I was saying earlier today to people was, there's a difference between my generation, I say, that grew up with the internet, and then the generation after us that grew up on it. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, we're not so easily influenced. We had a lot of time in the streets, we was walking around, we had a lot of interpersonal contact in real life. Whereas on the internet, for a lot of people, social media is everything, you know what I'm saying?
So it's born into that.
Born into it. So whatever they see on social media, on the internet, is like, okay, cool, I need to do this. So I think the root, maybe with especially the younger kids, is that lack of self-awareness, a lack of self, you know what I'm saying? So if someone says to them, and I say my generation is involved as well, if someone in our generation goes to these young kids like, okay, you know what, you're going to go and do this, they're more likely to do it because they see, say, me on social media, I get so much love, I get so much acclaim. If I want to be like that person, how they are on social media, I need to do whatever they told me to do, you know what I'm saying? So I think it starts with self, and then it moves out.
So you don't think that there's a direct link between the content? All right, let's not say that, okay, the music is music, yeah? But the lyrical content of some of them, because I've listened to a few of them, and to me, from the older generation, it's quite frightening, but I do understand where you're coming from, because generational gaps. It's like some of the things or some of the access or information on the internet now, as an older person, is still quite shocking. That it's just right at your fingertips. So my thing is this, is that if you're able to tap on something, and for example, what happened over here the other day, if you're able to tap on that and see images from that, do you not think that's going to incite more violence?
I think you become desensitized to it, and then it begins to become normalized in a sense.
So it's kind of normalized right now, isn't it?
With so much coverage of it, and in a sense, some part of the media, there's a bit of propaganda in there. They're going to prop it up. They're going to make it more than what it might actually be, even though it's still an issue. And then people are going to say, oh, okay. Because you know what, in terms of the content, is it really that different from what we get on it every day? On the news, you can see murders, killings, different terrorist groups.
This is what young person said to me the other day.
You know what I'm saying? We can play violent video games. This is what they were saying previously about our youth playing 18+ video games and then going out and committing mass shootings. People can always say, oh, because of this and that. In, let's say, 2008, the content of the music wasn't necessarily different. You know what I mean? It's just now, okay, it's been pushed a bit more, but for some people, this is their struggle, this is all they have. This is how they make it.
On that as well, back then, the music was as much, but the difference is now is that there's a lot more platforms to promote your music, and it's a lot more publicized, there's a lot more money involved, there's shows and that, so it's out there to everyone, whereas you older lot probably weren't aware of the music as much as you are now, because it's publicized a lot more. Back then it was as bad, but it's been publicized more, it's
more access to it.
And everyone seems to know about it, but as I said, and as my friend said, at the end of the day, like, I still don't think it's the root, I think it's one of the problems, but I don't even think I don't even think, in fact I know it's not the biggest problem. I can literally sit here and, like, you go on, you look, I think we discussed earlier, what is going on in terms of what are the government doing, what is the mayor doing.
Well, this is kind of where I wanted to get to anyway, but I wanted to get to it from a younger perspective.
Yeah.
Because I want to know, because I can see, I've got an overview of what I think the government's doing or not.
Yeah.
But I want to hear it from you, what you think the government are doing or what they could do better.
You want to know my opinion?
Yeah, what's your opinion?
They've been trying to get people from this area moved out of London for how long now? Years. What they're doing now, what's happening with this black on black crime? The government, to me, are sitting back and saying, listen, they're just getting the easy way out. They ain't got to move us out. If we just kill each other, they're getting what they. At the end, ultimately, what the government wanted is us to go. We're killing each other. They ain't got to do that. Because to be honest, as you said, we was discussing earlier, there are no police on the streets. I've walked over 40 minutes today, and I've seen 2 police officers all day. Over 40 minutes today, and with everything going on, and you read how they're putting on emergency services, they're putting people out there. I mean, for me personally, like, I've personally never liked the police, just for other reasons. But for other people, obviously, as you said earlier, they are deterrent for criminal actions when they are around. But for other people, like younger people, older people, seeing the police makes a big difference to them because they feel a lot safer. So the fact that we can't see, you even said you ain't barely seen it, I've barely seen it.
I don't see the police anymore.
And that's the thing. It's like you think of little things like you look at, let's say example, I know it's completely off the topic, something like Madeleine McCann. Look how much money.
Nah, bro, that's on the topic. Yeah. That's government money. Asking for money.
Look how much money, and there's till this day they are still funding that search. How old was I when that happened? How old were we? I was a little kid. Yes. And it's still, I'm 22 now. And it's still,
money just
look at honestly, like, I'll be honest with you. Honestly, for the first time in my life, I actually walk out scared. I walk out looking like this. And I've been, me and him have been across London, two man deep, on foot, on bus, you get me? We've done that. Like, and I still weren't that, like, do you know what it is? I was with him, so I knew, no matter what, he's not an idiot, I'm not an idiot. Like, yeah, you get me? We had each other's backs no matter what, and we done missions. I'm not sure, but like now you're out there, you just don't know anymore. Like, and it's not knives they're playing with now; they're playing with guns. But to my point is that they put all that money into searching for someone. Bro, we are killing each other on these streets. We are killing each other. I'm not talking millions of miles away. I'm talking on our doorstep.
You're talking around the corner.
Around the corner there, and yet, can anyone honestly come to me and say they've seen progress on what's going on? No, I get it in the sense that right now it's a very hard situation to deal with. And a lot of people are saying, what can we do? And you know what I said to my boys the other day? I said, you know what, there's so many of us out there that have opinions on this. And there's thousands and thousands of us that have opinions on this matter. And you know what, Monday was the final straw for me. I said, you know what, sorry, I'm going to come out and say something about it. I'm going to try and get involved now because it's ridiculous. I've got a little 3-year-old brother on there. I don't want him to grow up and be like this. But there's thousands of us that have the same opinion on this matter. Same opinion about the government, same opinion about everything. But they say to me, but what will my opinion do?
Bring those opinions together.
You think of them thousands of people that don't want to talk. Imagine them thousands of people sat in this room today and we all spoke and we all would say made a difference. So much can be made, but again,
you know what I imagine is a day when young people wake up
and
say, hold on a minute, are they taking us for puppets here?
That's what the government
is this an agenda? You understand what I'm saying? Is this something that we could stop ourselves before we end it?
To me, there's so much from the government. There's so much corruption. Completely, it's like they're cutting. As you said, how many they've cut? Community services. Obviously, I'm not necessarily saying that making youth clubs, I don't think is the answer, but what we do within our communities, we have the most power, and we could have the most power within our communities, but not enough of us are trying to utilize our power, and like it's distressing, man, because I don't really want to be walking on the street and turning my head 24/7. Like, you get me? Like, we've been in them situations before when we were 16, 17. Like, what? To be honest, this whole situation sort of died down for us. Like, when I'd hear stuff from like the ends and that, it'd be like, what? I don't, like, you get me? Like, I'd be like, right, I don't even know. But now it's publicised. It's like, right in your face, and it can be literally anyone.
Yeah.
See, before it seemed a bit more targeted. You know what I'm saying? People knew who had the issues in a sense. Even if we weren't involved, we kind of knew, okay, how we need to operate, where we need to stay away from, and whatnot. Now it doesn't seem like it matters. The time, if you notice, a lot of these violence crimes, the time at which they happen is getting closer and closer to daylight hours. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately,
from late night, that no one really
doesn't happen
outside of the issues could be affected. No, it's slowly getting earlier and earlier. And you're starting to wonder, wow, even mid-afternoon, people don't necessarily want to be outside their house looking around if they fit the bill of.
People just generally don't feel safe anymore. That's what I'm getting on the streets, is that there's just an air of, we're living in this community, and this community could kill us.
But the thing is, when you're walking on the streets, as soon as you step out your house and you get onto a high street or main street, you feel that energy hit you. It smacks you. As soon as you sort of walk past someone, as soon as you see someone, everybody just feels, you can feel the uneasiness with everyone. There's such unease right now between everyone. Like, as soon as I hear a bit of noise, straight away, you just look to see, make sure nothing's going on, nothing. And, man, it's just, it's sad, isn't it? Because, like, at the end of the day, it's just like, you got a lot of friends out there, you got family. To be honest, at the end of the day, I don't want to wake up. I hate waking up in the morning and seeing a 17, 16-year-old. Because I remember what I was like at 17, 16. I was still chasing my football dream. Like, I was still out there trying to do things.
Trying to survive.
Now, that's what the thing is. We've hit survival mode every time. Every day I wake up, tick, I survive. Tick, I survive. I've got so much things to look forward to. But right now, as much as I want to look forward to them, but we're all in survival mode. And as you said, I can walk out, even when I'll go to work. On Tuesdays I work at 5, so I work at 5 AM. I don't see no one. There's nothing about. There's no one about. If it's something, they could easily, and they try to say there's police cars waiting around corners in case something happens. That's not good, because if something's already happened, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It's even like you see helicopters floating about, probably all the way up in the sky, or you've got people you're calling down to. But I don't know. I don't see no. To me, it's just.
That's you see.
It's all the corruption, man.
You see, that's kind of where I wanted this to go. Is to hear what you really, how you feel within your own community. Because right now, for me as an elder in this community, I even feel on the edge, and I don't know if that's right. Does that make sense? Because I work with young, but I leave my house and worry about my little ones. You know, my little one came out of school the other day talking about there is a war on the streets, and I had to quickly dismiss that, because to me, there's issues, on the streets, but if we start calling it these things, you see where I'm going with it? Then where does it go?
I want to pull up a matter there. You mentioned he came out of school.
Yeah.
Now, I want to tell you something. To me, that's the biggest problem, school. Because you know what? You spend 5 days a week, 9 to 3 or whatever, and I'll take it back to when we were in school. I mean, we had to say the same school. When I was in school, let's say, for example, I got in trouble. Say, I remember I can bring a situation where a group of us got in trouble for mucking about. And by the way, they put you in an isolation room. So it was meant to be there for the rest of the day.
Getting ready for prison.
Yeah. They put you in an isolation room. One of my friends came in, he got sent out from another class, and he got sent out for mucking about. You've put 6 people in one room that have all in there for mucking about. What do you think happened?
All mucking about.
We were in there for 3 days. Just because we carried on mucking about. So in school, what they do is when kids are in trouble or they get excluded, they put you in a unit, they put you in an isolation room, and what they do is they put you in there with like-minded people. People are in there for similar reasons, people are troubled, people who haven't had the help or support they need. What do you think is going to happen if you put 2 serial killers in a room and lock them in for 24 hours? They're going to
devise a better way of killing.
They're not going to come out and suddenly go and look at the world and be like, okay, they're probably going to go and just kill everybody they see. So the fact is, you're putting all these people in one room together, and this started from when we were younger. And there's I don't know what schools are like now. That's why I'd like to go into schools and actually see what is actually going on inside. Yeah, because I want to. I don't know what's going on. Because when we was in younger, I remember going. It was year 11, and I ended up in LSU for 2 weeks. Yeah. They were losing my work. And by the way, I was a smart kid. I left school with probably grades. I passed, but from what I was expected to get, I should have been getting a lot higher. I had support in terms of counselling, but in terms of what they were doing in the classrooms and other stuff, they sort of said, you know what, there you go, you've been in trouble, go over there. And even the way, and the problem in school is, it's like, trauma is a problem, the psychological issue with kids is a problem, because it's like, teachers always had their favourites. Now imagine for example, when I was in the football team, somebody was always ahead of me because the coach liked them more. Now, that didn't put me off, of course. Luckily, I had a very good mindset, luckily, and I had people around me that kept me like that. But imagine there's a kid that don't have the same mindset as me. And the thing, most of them don't. So what do? They retaliate in a different way. And some of them probably end up on the street. Some of them probably end up committing crimes. But it's because they're not getting the support, or teachers will talk down on you because you're a kid. I'm going to tell you this now. I don't think just because we're younger than adults, we should respect them. We should respect an adult because
they're
respecting us. Not because teachers, some of these kids that are out here now have been in schools, they'll have had teachers screaming in their face, like point blank range screaming every time they do something bad. So what you're teaching them kids is that when something goes wrong, that's how you should retaliate. You should retaliate in the...
I'm going to stop you right there because this is another, we're going to talk about this more in depth. I think this is a whole different topic.
Okay.
And I think you should be going into schools to kind of talk to those young boys in the units, because I think once they're in there, and I do agree with you fully, once they're in there, the mindset changes. And the longer they're in there, I've heard of pupils in those units for 4 months. And by the time they come out, they're excluded. So, but what I just want to do, just to round this up, is there are people out there marching tonight for peace on the streets, mainly adults. Just your last closing word on what they should be doing. Maybe does marching work?
Peaceful protest has always been something interesting.
Peaceful
personally, it's similar to the Malcolm X and the Martin Luther King parallel. Although Martin Luther King, because of the time, definitely became a bit more retaliating kind in it where necessary. And I think it can work if the right people are involved. This is not another thing I say. When you get the right role models, or that, as much as I see myself as a role model, the kids on the street ain't necessarily going to see me as one, because I'm not doing something that they can connect with. You know what I'm saying? It's whereas now, for example, some of these rappers and some of the people that probably do play a factor into a lot of the violence, if they now step forward, even though it's a bit hypocritical at this point, considering if they're still making money off this, you know what I'm saying, it will have a much greater influence than someone like me who's chosen to stay out quite early on. I've gone out, I'm in uni and all these kind of things. It's like, cool, you can see, you chose that path, but the person I've been looking up to right now, they're getting all the money, they got the chains, they got the glamour. It's those people, those role models for the young kids that need to step forward and take action. You know what I'm saying? So marching can work if you have the right people backing it.
So some of those people should be on those marches, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, they're not.
They're not. Because you know what? It's again comes down to how it's sort of a social media thing. Like people will sort of come out and probably say, "Oh, but you're talking about this on your music. Why are you doing this now?" So it comes down to that. Pride becomes a big thing. There's a lot of factors that will probably stop or deteriorate from these artists coming out and maybe trying to do something. But then again, to the artists that ain't involved, and to artists that grew up around this area that ain't involved, they should probably do a lot more to get involved, because they've got the backing, they've got the money to probably help. And there's quite good, to my awareness, you probably know more than me, there's probably quite good money within the UK music scene right now, so I'm pretty sure enough of them have enough money to sort of get together and say, you know what, let's do something to help.
Let's make a change.
Yeah.
Boom. There you have it. You hear it from the mouths of young people themselves. You know, I'm so tempted to say adults connect with more young people because they've got the advice that you're looking for, or they've got the solutions that you're missing. But you know, it's just such a great pleasure listening to it from your point of view, because I'm always talking about it from my point of view. But it kind of, we're on a similar page. We're on a very similar page. So if you get nothing from this talk, which I think you will get something from this talk, is to listen more to young people. I think stop judging them, because they may be in a place where they unfortunately landed there. And then let's start helping these young people a bit more. Yeah. Boom. Great talk, man.